I guess first, just talk about the rivalry between Notre Dame and Miami and what it means to you and how you've embraced it.
Well, the Notre Dame rivalry was obviously one of the greatest rivalries of the 80s. It was just the excitement of each of the games, because of the national championship implications was the best part of it. Fortunately, we won most of the games in the 80s, so we came out with a pretty good feeling. But the excitement, I'll just never forget the excitement before the games was, almost rivaled a Super Bowl. The crowds were just, exciting. The people showed up 6 hours early to the Orange Bowl to tailgate. Particularly the '89 championship game, the excitement was you could feel it in the air. It was just amazing. The first game I participated in was a 31-13 victory up at Notre Dame, and it really kind of made me realize how tough the series was. I was actually standing with Father Leo, the team priest, before the game, and several Notre Dame fans started yelling, and here's this Catholic priest, and they're yelling, "You're not a good Catholic if you're a Hurricane." So I knew it was really a pretty serious rivalry, and their fans took it just as seriously as our fans did. But the 58-7 game, one of the things I've always been told was that on block punt, we had Miami only had 10 guys on the field. Notre Dame had 12 on the field. So it's kind of hard to tell an 18-year-old kid, Bill Hawkins, not to block the punt. So it wasn't like we were trying to run it up purposely block it. It was just they didn't block us. So. But as I say, like the '89 game, one of the things about the '89 game was as Sebastian the Ibis, I had been doing the cane spell out in some of the corners of the stadium, in front of the student section or in front of the west end zone. And that game, Notre Dame didn't bring their band down for the game. So when the Miami band finished at halftime, there was plenty of time left before the teams came out on the field. So I walked out onto the field and started, getting the west end zone to start the cheer, and then I got student section, and then I suddenly kind of realized that, wait a minute, everybody in the whole stadium is starting to do this cheer. And so I'd never been on the middle of the field doing it. So when I finally got to it and I did the C-A-N-E-S, Canes, I mean, the place just erupted. I remember kind of thinking, going, yes, we've got something. This is the cheer that's going to be a tradition. And so that was the Notre Dame game in '89, so I'll never forget that one. But the rivalry was just, the games were amazing. The 1990 game up in Notre Dame, I accidentally, as the team was getting ready to go out on the field, and the tunnel was real small, so it was crowded, and players were bumping me around. And as Coach Erickson yelled, "All right, let's go!" and so the team started running out. I got kind of knocked around and discombobulated, and I looked up, and there was this opening, so I charged for it. Well, Miami's team had gone one direction, and I charged right through the middle of the Notre Dame band. And their drum major was standing there just yelling and screaming at me as I went running by there. And a couple of the band members tried to grab the beak. And someone later told me that I was the first visitor to ever run through the Notre Dame band. I didn't mean to do it, but it was kind of one of those things. It's kind of like, all right, it's Notre Dame, so who cares? I did it.
I guess talk about some of the biggest individual performances you've seen on the field against Notre Dame.
Well, that first game that I participated in the '84 game, Alonzo Highsmith had 4 touchdowns against Notre Dame, just ran up and down the field on them. And to my knowledge, that is still the most touchdowns ever scored against Notre Dame in Notre Dame Stadium. The 58-7 blowout in '85, everybody just played well. I mean, we were intercepting passes, returning for touchdowns, long touchdown passes, short passes, runs. That was just an amazing game. Actually, I can't really remember any of the other individual ones because it was just, the games were just dominating games, particularly the game obviously the greatest play for Miami in the Notre Dame series was the '89 game when we had a 3rd and 43 from our own 7-yard line, I believe it was. Craig Erickson drops back to pass, hits Randall Hill for 44 yards, first down. I mean, place just erupted. I was standing actually several times in the corner of the end zone, of the west end zone where the Miami fans were, and when Notre Dame was driving and I was trying to get the crowd pumped up, I mean, I literally could feel the ground shake. It was just the excitement. It's hard to describe because it really was literally electricity in the air.
And now we play again this year for the first time in 2 decades, and we have a couple more games scheduled coming up. Talk about your excitement around that and building it back up.
Yeah, I think it's great for college football that Miami and Notre Dame are playing. I mean, not just this year, but in the future. The excitement of playing them in a bowl game is pretty cool because you can end their year on a negative note by beating them, and being able to play them a couple more times. Of course, we got to play them in Chicago for the neutral game. Neutral, yeah, right. But I can't wait to get them back down here in South Florida because there was nothing more exciting back in the '80s than those Miami-Notre Dame games.
Thanks, Sean.
Cool.